But Kelley, it sounds like you've got something interesting to talk about. Something about it's getting hot in Tennessee, or what the heck is going on?
Yeah, it sure is, and it involves our good old buddy Greg Locke. And this story was brought to us by the amazing Hemant Mehta, who always deserves an applause for the work that he does. But
Mhm.
our good old friend Greg Locke of the Global Vision Bible Church down in Tennessee, he's going to have his second book burning this of the year. He had his last one back in February, and they're going to do this one on Halloween. And he's telling everybody to come on, bring down all your horrible demonic stuff so that they can burn it. And he's got a list of stuff that just kind of threw me off. He's telling people to bring dream catchers, spell books, healing crystals, yoga related nonsense, rings, pendants, aprons, Shriners hats. All of it's cursed, he says. He wants you to clean out all your satanic symbols, board games, Catholic statues, rosary beads, tarot cards, and demonic games like Dungeons and Dragons and Pokemon. Oh shit, I'm going to hell. Oh boy, it's unbelievable. So I honestly, I don't know how this guy still has a following, to be honest with you. I really don't. It just goes to show you how large the community of delusional or indoctrinated people actually is. I'm actually surprised they're not burning witch effigies too. Like they didn't call for it because, burning witch effigies is an old timey Christian sport, isn't it? No, wait. They weren't burning effigies, were they, Richard?
No, no, they weren't. No, they weren't. This is this is it's Greg Locke. What can we say? I'm lost for words. When I mean that list, the list of things he gives out, it's got pretty much everything apart from himself on there. Anything you can find in the world, just burn it, burn it. But one of the last line of his communication is the one that really amuses me, where he says, "We will worship, we will pray, we will burn, we will celebrate Jesus, and push back the forces of darkness on the year's most evil night. We are children of the light, and we will not tolerate darkness."
Mm.
He's gone full on fucking super Christian for this one, hasn't he? It's amazing. It's outdone himself. Greg Locke is always a source of great amusement for us here on the non-profits, but I think on this one is outdone himself. Raphael, what do you think?
I just never know what to think of Greg Locke. He's just out of his mind. But I like that yoga mats and yoga stuff somehow always gets like put into the occult. It's like God wants you to have tight hamstrings. There's no stretching allowed. Throw that shit away. Just burn it right now. Have bad health. No stretching, because I mean, there's no stretch that doesn't come from yoga at this point. So like just sit in your lazy boy and just chill. Don't move.
Yeah, I did like the line where it says burn the dream catchers, spell books, healing crystals, and yoga related nonsense. Because two thoughts came to my mind. The first one was, is Greg Locke just gonna burn a bunch of yoga pants? Like that seems like I don't know that there's I don't know that there's any biblical like excuse there or anything, but okay, fine. And then the next thought that I had was, wait, is he telling people to burn their crystals? Like it's like I don't think you understand as much. I don't think you understand what these words mean, basically. Kelley, tell us some of your thoughts on this. Was there anything here that you thought was worrisome? Is this just something to laugh at? I mean, what do you think?
Most of this show is just stuff to laugh at, which I think is great. But to further your point a little bit farther, if people do come and throw all their healing crystals in the fire, there's going to be a bunch of crystals left over after the fire because they're not going to burn very well. And I do have a lot of thoughts about this, but one of my thoughts is back in the 1960s, some of us may remember those days. I was born like right around the founding of Rome, so I remember that. But John Lennon said that Christianity will go, it will vanish and shrink. I needn't argue about that. I'm right, and I'll be proved right. We're more popular than Jesus now. I don't know which will go first, rock and roll or Christianity. Jesus was all right, but his disciples were thick and ordinary. It's them twisting it that ruins it for me. And when he said that, churches across the country, all across the United States, came out against the Beatles. They were sponsoring Beatles record burnings. They were getting kids to pile up huge piles of records and burn them. I've seen videos of it. I'm not sure it was happening everywhere, but I've seen at least 3 or 4 different places where it was done. And Beatles record sales actually skyrocketed. People were going out buying the albums just to burn them, right? So I'm just saying, if Greg Locke comes after your work, maybe it's not such a bad thing. It might be really good for your sales. I don't know if I could make a bunch of extra money just to watch my own work go up in smoke, but I'm not everyone. If you're motivated by the money, think about getting on the Greg Locke's bad side. So,
yeah, I thought that
and
too.
Also,
oh no, go ahead.
Did
Please.
you? No, I was thinking also that now I just threw me off. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll come back to it.
I'll say real quick, and then we'll go to Richard because I know he has more thoughts. But yeah, my thought on the burning the Ouija boards and stuff was if somebody actually does bring a Ouija board to burn, does that mean that they're admitting that they've had it this whole time? Because that feels like probably more of an issue from Greg's perspective, right? And if they did just go out and buy it to burn it, then it's just kind of I'm really confused by this. I'm just anyway. Richard, what are your thoughts on this, man? What else you got?
Yeah, on the back of what Kelley's just said, I think my next get rich quick scheme is just writing a book called Greg Locke is a Dick. So he just buys a load of copies and burns it. And look, it's very, very easy. It's very easy just to have a go at him because he is an immense idiot. And Greg, I hope you do watch this just so you can hear me say you're an idiot. You're an idiot, Greg Locke. You are an idiot. You are an idiot. Idiot. You, sir, are an idiot. But I think, look, this, in all seriousness, there is a dark side to this, and that is that he's getting very, 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 very close to dangerous cult leader here, because it's not just saying, come on, let's burn these books, let's burn these records, let's burn these Ouija boards and every other item he's got on that list, which is immense. Go into the article and read it, people. There are lots of things, maybe even you're on there, but it's even challenging the authorities, and that's what's scary about it. He said in this communication that it's his church property. He can do what he wants from it. He knows that the police might be called. He knows that the fire department might be coming, and he's challenged them. And he said, "There's nothing you can do. This is my property," and that's scary. That is where he gets to kind of really, really dangerous cult leader. Raphael.
I agree with everything you just said, Richard, but I'm going to change it to a more ridiculous question. Hypothetically, if you were still a believer, but you didn't believe in burning stuff, would you still show up because you like to burn stuff? Because I think when I was still a believer, I would think burning stuff is stupid in the context of let's burn some Ouija boards. But I also think a big bonfire where burning crazy shit could be fun. I don't know. Just a thought.
No, I see where you're coming from on this. Yeah, and I think this is one of those things to me that seems so obviously to be a stunt, right? I'm never a big fan of trying to assess how sincere somebody is when they express their beliefs, because I always try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, right? I always try to be real charitable. But when I see Greg Locke yelling about stuff like this and freaking out on various, social media platforms, I don't think he's allowed on most of them anymore, which is probably a really good thing. But it always just makes me feel like it's an act, especially, I mean, he called out Catholics in this too. He said, bring your Catholic statues and your rosary beads and all this stuff. And I mean, let's be honest, Catholicism isn't far from just straight up paganism. They're practically the same thing sometimes. But I mean, Kelley, what else do you think on this, man? Do you agree with with Richard that this is kind of a bad situation getting worse? Is this something we really need to be paying attention to?
Oh, definitely. He's not only challenged the local authorities, he's challenged federal authorities too. He's came out and challenged the IRS in the past. So, I mean, I don't think he's becoming a cult leader. I think he is a cult leader. And there's no doubt about that in my mind. I do want to point out that in his last book burning last February, one lone man showed up with the Bible and tossed it on the fire. And wouldn't it be cool if Halloween, 100 people, 200 people show up and throw a Bible on the fire? Wouldn't that be fun? That's what I'd like to see.
For sure.
And maybe it would send a message to
So-
him that what you're taught, maybe not everybody is on your side. So
On that note, I think it's very important as well. The last one of these things he did, we covered the last book burning he did on the non-profits as well, and is always on our radar with his immense intelligence. We a lot of people started sending him shit, and some of it dangerous shit through the post who objected to him. Don't do that, people. Don't stoop to his level and go and put people's lives in danger, and by all means turn up and throw your Bibles if it's safe for you to do so on the fire, but don't be sending letter bombs and things to him. That's not cool. That's not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
That just makes you a dick as well. We've got one dick already too many in the world with Greg Locke being alive. I don't mean that's not a call to action by any means. I was blaming his parents more than anything else. But go on, Kelley.
I was about to say, speaking of dicks, wasn't one of the things that everybody was sending them were sex toys back that time? I'm pretty sure that he was getting
Maybe
a
he
lot of
just needed
sex
to
toys in
loosen
the
up a
mail.
little.
So
Well, before we move on from this one, because this again, I just think is so totally ridiculous, and I think we all kind of feel the same way. There is obviously some important stuff to be paying attention to on this, and as Richard said, we talked about the last one that old Greggy Poo had, and we'll probably talk about any of the ones in the future if he has them. He doesn't seem like he's gonna stop. But I guess the quick question that I have, and I'll throw it to each of you real quick, is do you think these types of things are the things we're going to see continuing? Or do you think this is kind of that last vestige that it's just going to be Greg Locke and his slowly dwindling church only? Raphael, what are your thoughts on that?
I hope it's just gonna be Greg Locke losing his mind alone, but in the political and the lack of critical reasoning skills that seem to be abundant in society right now, who knows? I could definitely see more things popping up similar to Greg Locke, especially if Greg Locke continues to get away with what he's been getting away with. So,
Yeah. Richard, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think religious people on the whole are very reasonable people to a degree. I've know a lot of religious people. I have a lot of interaction with a lot of religious people, both as friends and academically. And I get on with a lot of religious people. Most of them aren't just batshit crazy people who burn people's books. There is, as Raphael said, there is a growing movement over in the US, I think, of politically motivated religious people, and I think if we see this shit increasing, that's the arena it's going to come from. So I think it's a watch this space kind of area.
Yeah. And Kelley, take us out for this article. What do you think? Are we going to see more, or is this kind of?
I'm hoping we don't see more. I mean, we're already seeing enough of it. We got a bunch of people doing this stuff. Kat Kerr, Robin Bullock, who I think is hysterical myself, but he's got hair like mine. But I don't, and I do see it expanding a little bit because of that Christian nationalist movement, and it kind of just fits right in with it. And we've seen Greg Locke up on stage preaching that Trump is still president, which is So the bad economy that they're all complaining about is actually Trump's fault, right? Because he's really still president. Does that make sense, right?
That might be
So
too logical.
I'm hoping it doesn't. Yeah, right. Yeah, it might actually be. So I'm hoping we don't see it spread more, but unfortunately, I think we are seeing it spread not as quickly as it was because people are starting to catch on to it. We're seeing it more in the news. We're seeing it more in social media, and people are starting to stand up to it. So hopefully, in the future, we're going to see this kind of curve backwards and not keep moving forward like it has been. That's my hope, anyway.
Yeah, I think I can second, third, fourth, fifth, however many. I can just agree with all of y'all on that. So hopefully that is the direction that we go.